Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Allie, and I'm here today to participate in a tarot tag put forth by Lisa from Tarot Alchemist. Now, her tag is all about tarot reflections, and she has 5 questions that I am going to answer for you all today. Now, the first question is, what genre of tarot am I drawn to? Well, I think it's pretty obvious if you follow me on Facebook or you visited my website or maybe you've even had a reading from me. I am drawn to fairy decks, the Fae inspired decks, as well as any geeky decks or pop culture decks. So my website is Geek and Faerie, or my Facebook page, Geek and Faerie. So those are pretty obvious that those are the decks I'm drawn to. So I can show you just a few. Here we have Brian Froud's Fairies Oracle, so not a tarot deck. A lot of the Fae decks that I use are actually Oracle decks, but I do have Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot that I use quite a bit with my readings. I've also got her Healing with the Fairies deck. What else do I use? This one here. This is the Shadowscapes deck by Stephanie Law. And there are a lot of dragons, fairies, mermaids, so a lot of fantasy theme. That's what I'm drawn to, dragons, mermaids. I also use the Enchanted Oracle as another one I use quite a bit with my readings. Anything that is mythological, so it doesn't have to be specifically fairy themed to catch my attention. I also like decks that include gods, goddesses, mythological heroes. So if it was maybe King Arthur inspired or Hercules, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, that would get my attention. I would definitely be looking at and considering those decks. And then the selling feature would be the artwork. So if I was really drawn to the artwork, then guaranteed I would probably snap it up. Now with my geek and pop culture decks, there's not a whole lot on the market, but I certainly pick up a lot of those ones. So I've got the Justice League Tarot for some of my nerdier themed readings. I've also got Lord of the Rings. This box has been pretty beat up. It's got scotch tape holding it together. Lord of the Rings, the Legend of Tarot, which is a Legend of Zelda deck. And then, of course, my latest Shadowhunters deck as well. So yeah, pop culture, mythology, fairies, those are the decks that I love to use and love to work with and love to collect. Okay, question number 2. Use a card from the majors and a card from the minors to describe my greatest strengths. Okay, this took me a while to figure out, and I don't even know if I have a solid answer yet, because I was trying to decide out of the majors between these two. So I have the Chariot here, which I felt like was one of my strengths, and Justice. And it's a toss up. I don't know which one. I think sometimes it's one and sometimes the other. And the reason I chose these ones, I think I am really, really good at being objective. And of course, I have my moments of weakness where, I'm not perfect. I have my biased moments, especially, in heated or emotional situations. It's when it's harder to remove yourself from the situation. But at least after the fact, I think I can sit down and do a good reflection on, how things went down, what was my behavior? Could I handle that better? And I'm very open to criticism and feedback. I really pride myself on that. So being really objective, seeing things from all sides, collecting all the information, hearing a lot of different opinions, getting both sides of the story, that's, I think, where I really excel. And I'm good at putting it all together to make really fair judgments and decisions. And then the Chariot, I can't sit still. I'm one of these people that has to be constantly doing something, and I'm always busy. I'm always working towards something, working on something. I have some project, some goal that I'm constantly striving for or trying to reach. So I have a hard time just sitting still. I'm always on the move and I'm always persevering, and I'm very productive. I'm a very productive person. I don't know how not to work. I find efficient ways of doing things. Yeah, and I'm always working on something. I don't know how to relax. And I'm a bit controlling too. So I think, that's another thing that I just take the reins and I go for it. So yeah, I had a hard time really settling on one or the other. I think both of these are some strengths of mine. Now, with the minor cards, again, I really struggled, but I settled on Eight of Pentacles because I think one of my greatest strengths is that I am a very quick learner. I'm very studious, I'm very observant. Again, I look for ways to be efficient. Um, I jump right in and I can dedicate myself to something and really try to master it. Now, I think this is also, although it's a strength, I think it's also a weakness because I think sometimes I try to master everything, and that makes me more of a jack of all trades instead of really truly being a master at something. That I want to be good at everything. And, I have that chariot energy which drives me and keeps me busy and keeps me working hard. But I think sometimes this leads to this, and I sometimes take on more than I can handle or become overwhelmed because I'm learning too much at once, or too many projects on the go at once, or I've committed myself to too many things in a short period of time. So that tends to happen. And sometimes that when this happens, I have a harder time being this. And so I don't know. For tarot people, this is going to make perfect sense. But yeah, the Eight of Pentacles, I'm very studious, very eager to learn, eager to master things. I'm a very quick learner with most things. I'm good at art, I'm good at math, good at problem solving. So the Eight of Pentacles was the card I chose. Okay, question number 3. Describe how these cards play out in everyday life, and are the strengths being fully utilized in my mundane life? Yes, I would say so. I would say, I have a day job where I work at a library and I am a bit of a workhorse and I power through. I've really had to learn how to pace myself. I've been criticized by my supervisors and my peers for working too hard and getting too much done and then not having enough to do, at the end of the day. So I would say, again, this might be a strength that is also a weakness. But I take that criticism and I try to learn from it. Let me think what else. Yeah, I mean, my husband knows. He always tells me I don't know how to sit still. I don't know how to take time off. I'm just busy all the time, whether it's around the house or working on my tarot business or working on my art business or just creating things or crafting things or experimenting with new things. Um, yeah, that's me. I'm just a busy. I just don't know how not to be busy. With justice, yeah, I learned very early on because even as a kid, I was told I'm too critical. I'm too critical and too judgmental. Um, and so that was, I took that. I didn't think that I was being too critical. I thought I was being helpful. At least that was the intention. Letting people know, hey, you could do this better, or this might be a weakness of yours, but people took it as an attack. So that was something I had to sit back and be objective with and say, okay, how would I feel being criticized? And my thoughts, I decided very early on in my life that criticism was valuable and to always take it as people trying to help. And even though truth can be hard to hear, I always sit with it and figure out what I can learn and take it as an opportunity to improve myself personally, professionally, however it applies to my life. Um, and just, yeah, not take offense, but use it as something I can work with, or decide I don't want to change and I'll live with the consequences of that. And that is something I take very seriously. But I have learned not everyone is like that. And so for me, I think justice and this kind of objective, um, critical thinking that I am so good at, I've also had to learn how to be more positive and give people that positive feedback as well. And so really try harder and put more effort to compliment people or express gratitude for people who have excelled at something, or just show, I don't know, express more positive feedback, I suppose, is a lesson I have learned to kind of balance the scales of that more constructive criticism. Yeah. And okay, the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, I think I apply this everywhere. Like I said, I'm a fast learner. I pride myself on being a fast learner. When I start a new job, my supervisors have always told me that I pick up on things really fast. I learn really fast. I'm determined to master things, find ways of doing things, more efficient ways. I just want to be good at everything that I apply myself to. So whether, yeah, that's work or play or creativity or anything, I always want to be better. I always want to make the next thing better than the last one, or step it up and keep raising the bar, so to speak. Okay. Question number 4. Share one tarot spread that you love to use for shadow or healing work. Now, I'm going to share one with you that might be unexpected, outside the box a little bit, because I don't focus my tarot practice so much on shadow or healing, which is really funny. Like, this question, I had never really thought about it much, and then this question sort of made me think, well, what do I do? What is it that I offer? And I suppose I am more future focused. I'm more like, I want to empower people to move forward instead of reflecting back. I suppose that's more the emphasis I put on my tarot practice and my tarot readings. And I'm always like, even for me, I'm the chariot. I'm always moving forward. I'm never looking back. And so this one made me pause and think, what's the closest thing I do to healing work? Because um, we bring the past into the present quite a bit. I mean, I do that for myself. I'm sure many of my clients, everybody does. And it's not that I don't incorporate that in my readings, but I've never made it the focus. So going through my spreads that I use regularly, this is one that might surprise people, but I think it actually fits. And it is the Star Wars Use the Force tarot spread. And I got this spread from, oh gosh, who is it? Sasha Graham? I think it's Sasha Graham. It's 365 days of tarot spreads. And it's just phrasing it. I know it seems a bit gimmicky, but you could rephrase all these questions. You could take out the Star Wars logo and still use it for, I think, I have noted here, personal development. It is a great spread to use for personal development. And I think, you know, when you see words like the dark side, um, filtering fear, disturbance in my force. Those are just other ways of saying, you know, the darkness, the shadow inside you. And so I think this is a fantastic spread. I find this one of my actually most powerful spreads that I use, and it just fits my geeky reading theme that I offer for people. And so, number one, what is the force? Number two, what energy courses through me? Um, these just kind of set the tone of, you know, what is the issue? What is the energy that you're working with or fighting with or struggling with? Number three, how can I train to be more sensitive to my power? We're running out of focus. There we go. Number four, what creates a disturbance in my force? Number five, how am I tempted by the dark side? So how are you deviating away from your path, from your light? How do I filter emotions like fear? Number seven, how can I use the force for compassion? And then finally, number eight, what's the destiny that I must fulfill? So ultimately, where are you headed? Um, yeah. So I love this spread. I know it seems a bit cheesy, a bit gimmicky, but it's actually quite powerful. So love that one. Okay, last question. If you were to scan over your personal tarot, spiritual, witchy practice in the last 6 months, what would you say is the most common theme showing up? Yeah, I think for me and for a lot of the readings I've done for others, at least one of the themes has been taking risks, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, facing fears, especially fears around risk, around the unknown, that having, you know, what if I fail kind of fears. So I'm not going to try because what if it doesn't work out, and then what? Would vary for different people at different times. Yeah, facing fears, especially the fear of the unknown or the fear of failure, fear of risks, fear of rejection, taking those leaps of faith for sure has been a theme for me. It's also, um, I think about getting really focused, especially for me personally, being kind of that jack of all trades, master of none, spreading myself too thin, feeling overworked, overburdened. Um, I need to be more of a master instead of a jack. So getting more structure, honing in and focusing more, that has been a personal theme for me. And then learning to like let go of things and stop holding on and stop controlling or feeling like if I have to put things on the back burner or I have to let things go, that's not failure, that's actually moving me closer towards success. And I have to kind of shift my thinking, I think. Those are the messages and themes that have been coming through for me. So thank you for watching this tarot take video. And yeah, I invite anyone can participate if you want to create your own video. Thank you for watching. I just want to remind everyone, stay shiny and keep sparkling, and I will see you next time.